What's the weirdest, coolest, or funniest way you found out a girl liked you? She wrote to me, Ray, can I ask you a weird question? I agreed, and she wrote, never mind. Then, 5 minutes later, she said, I'm not a coward, so I'll ask, wanna go out somewhere with me? Life advice, you'll be amazed, but if a woman asks if she can ask a random or weird question, it means she's been thinking about it for weeks. She was just a pretty girl on the bus, definitely out of my league. One day on a crowded bus, we were standing very close to each other, and she just rested her head on my shoulder and looked at me. She said, can I stand like this for the whole ride? I feel comfortable with you. That was my first girlfriend ever, so it felt nice. She brought me sandwiches to school every day for a month. I had absolutely no idea why until my friend explained it to me. The only thing on my mind was free food. Cute. I interpreted it as her thinking my parents were too poor to feed me properly and she felt sorry for me. I thought I hit it off with a girl from my dorm when I was at a party in Warsaw, but I wasn't 100% sure she liked me. She asked for my phone to text her friend to let her know she was okay, and her phone was dead. Then she went to the bar to get us drinks, so naturally, I read the text, which was something like, hey, it's XXX. I'm hanging out with a cute guy from our dorm. This is his phone. Tomorrow at 11 in the old town, so don't wait up. Fingers crossed and wishing for luck. The next day, I missed my train to Berlin. I was at a bar, and a girl I thought was way too cool for me came up and started talking about the sports team logo on my shirt. She offered to buy me a drink and then started flirting. I stood there, dumbfounded, unable to string two words together. She stayed for a couple of minutes and then left. My friend who was with me called me a freaking idiot and asked why I didn't keep the conversation going. I felt so stupid. In college, I lacked confidence. I asked a friend who never had trouble with girls for advice. He told me that the next time I see a girl I like, I should ask her something crazy, like, what color are your panties? I rolled my eyes, terrible advice. He said, try it. I didn't believe him. Later that same evening, I was talking to a friend of mine, telling her about this awful advice I got. She asked what it was, and I said, well, what color are your panties? She said, black. Next year, we're celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary. She got her friend to corner me by the school lockers between classes and said, so, you like that girl over there? You should ask her out. After a week of my hesitation and more than a little impatience on her part, I finally asked her out. Now we're engaged. I was sitting next to my friend and his girlfriend, and he had his arm around her. I decided to joke around, putting my arm around the empty space next to me and saying, yeah, I've got a girlfriend here too. After that, a girl who had been dropping hints that she liked me slid under my arm and smiled. Being a bit of a player, I awkwardly laughed and didn't say anything. I was talking to a girl for a few weeks and thought things were going really well. We were both going to the same party, so I called her and asked if I should bring something to drink. She told me what to get and asked how much it cost so she could pay me back. I said, $8, but you can just pay me back with kisses. She replied, $8? Okay, I'll pay you at the party. I didn't expect to be shut down like that, but it's fine. I went to the party with no intention of talking to her, but she chatted with me all night. At the end of the night, she handed me $8, and I said, what, is this better than the other option? Confused, she asked, what other option? Turns out, my phone had cut off right after I said $8, and she didn't hear the rest. She quickly took her money back and chose the second option. We've been married for 2 years. I went to a farmer's market with a girl. She wanted to see the rabbits, and when we got there, one of them squatted and started pooping. During the process, it kicked its stuff with its back legs, and most of it landed on us. She was stunned for a whole minute while I tried to find napkins. Then she said, this couldn't be a worse moment, but I want to go out with you. I was at a street party, and a cute, hot girl turned around, smiled, and asked for a lighter. Being a gentleman and a clueless idiot, I handed her the lighter and politely smiled back. 20 minutes later, some random guy asked her for a lighter, and she pulled one out of her purse, and they started talking. Man, I've never felt so stupid. I was 15 and had never had a girlfriend. I was wandering the streets with friends one Halloween evening. My friends ended up meeting a group they knew, and we continued hanging out together. As we walked down the road, one of the girls just grabbed my hand and didn't let go all evening. Then she stepped away for a bit and her friends cornered me, asking, "Do you like her? You know she thinks you're cute, right?" Being a kid, I just said, "I don't know, maybe." Obviously, I liked her, and I was just shocked that the stars were aligning for me. At the end of the night, we went back to the cars, wished each other sweet dreams, and she quickly kissed me. Long story short, she was my first girlfriend, and we dated for about 2 years before she hooked up with one of my friends in a car one night. Oh, youth. The summer before college, I worked at an amusement park. One day, I was working next to a cute girl. We chatted a bit during our short break, talking about where we're from, our pets, and what cars we drive. She finished work a couple of hours before me. We quickly said goodbye, and I went back to work. When I got to my car to head home, I noticed a piece of paper under the windshield wiper. She had left her phone number and invited me to hang out that evening. One time, I unexpectedly got a long message from a girl saying she wasn't looking for a relationship right now because she had just gone through a painful breakup. I was upset but respected her wishes. A while later, she called me and explained that there was another guy with the same name as me among her friends who was trying to flirt with her, but he was weird and she didn't like him. She had accidentally mixed me up with him in her phone. She apologized and said she liked me. I told her I liked her too. We've been together for 5 years. She invited me to go dancing with her as just a friend. I liked her but agreed to go as a friend. I tried to keep my hands to myself and respect the just friends rule. When I dropped her off at home, she kissed me. Years later, she told me she had been hoping I'd make a move all night but got tired of waiting and took matters into her own hands. I was chilling on the grass at an outdoor festival when a girl literally jumped on me and said, "Oh my God, I saw you at the pub in town. You have to meet me at the campsite later." I went to the campsite later, but there were like 5,000 people there, so I never saw her again. I fell for a girl I was studying with in college. She invited me to her parents' house to watch a movie. I showed up with 2 bottles of wine, we enjoyed them, and watched the film. Then we went upstairs to go to bed, and she said that when her parents aren't home, she sleeps in their room, but as a guest, I could sleep in any room. With my pea-sized brain, I thought I was being brushed off and had to pick one. I said sleeping alone in her parents' room felt weird, so I chose her room. She looked embarrassed and said, "Okay," and we went to separate rooms. A few months later, I ran into her one evening, and she asked why the heck I was being so dense. I still didn't get what she wanted and explained my logic. She laughed and told me the other side of the story. "Guys, we're so clueless, please just tell us what you want. I'm a barista at a small coffee shop." One day, I was called out to the front, where my roommate and a really cute girl were sitting at a table. I sat down with them, thinking, "Oh God, what's going on?" I looked at the girl, she blushed and giggled. I turned to my roommate and asked, "Bro, what's happening?" He smiled and said, "This is her name, and she likes you," then quickly buried his face in his phone, typing something. I looked at her again, and now she was just smiling and batting her eyes, tucking her hair behind her ear. I just froze, my jaw dropped, and my brain was screaming, "Say something. Ask her name. You're acting like a weird, silent creep." I finally said, "Hi," and we started talking. Turns out, she was a friend of a friend who found my social media and contacted my roommate. We exchanged numbers and went out a couple of times, but it didn't last long because of my studies and work. Honestly, I wasn't ready for a relationship, but she was a really cool girl, and my confidence skyrocketed after that. Her friend invited me on a date, but it was actually a setup to meet her. It was a typical college rooftop party in a big city where we weren't supposed to be. The owner called the cops, and they sat us all down by the garage in an alley. The owner was there, making a scene about how mad he was that people were on his roof. While the cops were distracted dealing with him, I turned to the cute girl next to me and said, "Wanna get out of here?" We just walked off down the alley and spent a whole month together. In college, I was hanging out with friends. A cute girl I knew from class, who lived a couple of houses down, came up to me and said, "Hey, cutie, can I borrow your shirt?" I didn't think much of it, said, "Sure," and ran upstairs to my room. When I turned to hand her the shirt, she had already taken hers off. I gave her the shirt and went downstairs so she could change. She left quickly and never spoke to me again. It was only weeks later that I realized what an idiot I was. At a friend's wedding, her cousin asked my friend, "He's super cute, does he have someone?" We didn't talk at all, but we locked eyes a few times. I was flattered but not interested. My friend texted me the next day, saying, "My cousin thinks you're cute. Want me to give her your number?" She was a few years older and attractive, but I'm still convinced she was a bit tipsy and said it by accident. I ran into her a few years later at a party, and she didn't recognize me. I went to a concert with a friend, and at the last second, he said, "I invited a girl, don't hit on her, I think I have a shot." I acted normal but thought she was funny and cool. At the end of the night, she asked for my number. We've been together for 10 years. At a freshman party, part of the event was for girls to name a guy they liked on stage. Most people stayed quiet, but she said my name in front of 200 people. I'm just a regular guy and was embarrassed and shocked by all the attention. She slapped me hard on the butt in the middle of class. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new, super interesting discussions. In the meantime, check out our other videos.